So this vlog is going to be about exercise, because exercise is something that is a big part of my eating disorder. It's it's been a way of my anorexia to take control of my life. Like, I lost weight through diet and exercise. Like, I was an over exerciser massively, and my last hospital admission in 2011, my consultant and I, we really tried to kind of get a hold on it, and we did to a certain extent. It became much more under control than it had ever been before. Like, before, I was exercising all hours of the day, and then in this last admission we did get it more under control. We developed in hospital like a sit, because obviously when you're in hospital it's very much no exercise, sit down all the time, but I couldn't do that. So we developed a sitting standing regime. So there were designated times in the day when I was allowed to stand up, because that was the only way. Just making me go cold turkey just wasn't going to work. Like, I'd had it in previous hospital admissions before, and it just made me go completely the other end when I got discharged. So this was kind of working with me to try and help get it under control, and it really did. I would sit down more during the day, and there were times when I could stand, and so it worked more. And this was a regime that I then, when I was discharged, I then followed on discharge. And I also was allowed to walk for 50, that's 50 minutes a day. And as time's gone on over the years, my sitting standing regime isn't so regimental. I can now, like, my work at the moment is in an office, so I'm virtually sitting down all the time. Yes, sometimes if I have been sat down all day, I do get a little bit stressed and think, oh, I've been sat down all day. But I'm all right with it. Like, that element of my eating disorder, having to stand up all the time, is kind of not really there anymore. And as I say, yeah, I do sometimes feel stressed if I've sat down all day, but I can do it. I can sit down all day, so that's all right. But I still have my regimental 50 minutes of walking that I have to do all day, every day. So from 2011 to now in 2019, well, actually not now because I've been working on it, but literally from 2011 to 2018, I have regimentally done my 50 minutes of walking every single day. I haven't missed it at all. But this past year, so from like this time, kind of like September last year to now, I've really been working with my therapist on reducing the amount of walking that I do, because, as she says, my anorexia controls me in the exercise that I do. I have no control over it. There are times when it's raining, it's chucking it down with rain, and I really don't want to go out and do my walk, but I have to, because my eating disorder makes me. It makes me go out in the rain, in the snow, when I'm feeling ill. No matter what, I have to go out and do that walk because the eating disorder makes me. And I hate that. I hate that I haven't got the power within me to not do it, and I can't. If it is so disabling in your head, for you not to want to do something, but you not have the power to control your behavior to not do it. So, as I say, I've had to do this walk for years and years and years, regardless of the conditions. I've had to do it, and I got so fed up with it. And an 8-year ingrained habit is very, very difficult to break, especially when something as powerful as anorexia is controlling it. So I took it to my therapist. I want to work on this. And she says, you want to get it to the point where you are in control, when it is you deciding that you want to go out for a walk, not the eating disorder making you. So that is the ultimate goal. We are away from that still, but that is where I want to be, and I have come so far. So we started off by doing it as what she called a test. So I was going to reduce my 50-minute walk by 5 minutes 3 times a week and see how this made me feel. it didn't matter if I couldn't do it. It was just testing to see how I reacted, whether I would introduce compensatory behaviours like cutting out calories or doing more in another day. So it started off as just a test to see how it went, and I did find it really, really hard. And initially I did find myself, if when I went out for my walk, so it had to be 5 minutes less, so I'd do 45 minutes, I'd be there thinking, oh, I just need to do that last 5 minutes and get it done. If I was strong enough not to do those last 5 minutes, then initially I did find myself cutting out a few calories in the evening because I had done that 5 minutes less. But then we readdressed it, we recognised what my compensatory behaviours were, and then the next time I tried to tried to know in my head that no, this is not what I want. Ultimately thinking about what I want in the ultimate future. I want to be able to not have my life dictated by going for my walk, dictated by exercise, dictated by anorexia, and doing this 5 minutes less will help that. So since September, yes, it's been very, very hard, but we've gradually reduced it 5 minutes as each time, like as we've gone along, and I have now got it down to 15 minutes a day. And if you'd have told me I'd be just doing a 15-minute walk this time last year, I'd have said there is no way on this earth that I can just walk for 15 minutes. No way. For someone who has been so obsessed and regimental with exercise, to now be down to 15 minutes, like, I can't believe that I can do it. But say we started off by reducing it by 5 minutes 3 times a week. So I was doing 45 minutes 3 times a week, and then this would gradually increase. So say doing 45 minutes 4 times a week, 45 minutes every day of the week, then gradually going down to 40 minutes 3 times a week. As we gradually decreased it, and the decrease between 50 and 30, so every gradual increase between 50 and 30, I did find so hard. And there were times within that when I would find myself doing compensatory behaviours, and then we'd go back and we'd have to address it, and so I'd have to remind myself of my ultimate goals and just keep challenging and challenging. I had to keep repeating the challenge. And so yeah, I managed to reduce it all that time, and then do it without any compensatory behaviours. And as I say, from 50 to 30, it was really hard. But actually, surprisingly, once I broke the 30-minute mark and I was decreasing it to 25 minutes and 20 minutes, I actually found it much easier. And for some reason, it was just, I didn't have trouble decreasing it to 25 minutes, 20 minutes, like it was all fine. And I think because I decreased it to that point, I reached the point where I was just like, right, I've realised how so much better life has become by not having to go out and slavishly do 50 minutes every day, and actually doing 25 minutes is so much nicer than doing 50 minutes. And then I was rolling with the ball, it was going, and I was like, I'm just desperate now to get this exercise addiction done, like break the habit, get me in control, not get anorexia in control. And so actually from 30 to 20 minutes, it was fine. I didn't have much trouble doing that. But this week was the start of me doing 15 minutes every day. Like she said, you want to try 15 minutes 3 times a week, and I was like, no, I just want to get this stuff done. I want to get to the point where I'm in control and I'm not having to exercise and walk every day. So I was like, I want to do 15 minutes every day. And this has been hard. This week I have found it hard just doing 15 minutes. Like, in my head, 15 minutes is not very long. And there was a day earlier this week where I got up, I wasn't at work, so I got up, I went for my walk in the morning, did my 15 minutes, came back, and then I was working on my computer for the rest of the day. And it got to later on in the afternoon, and I was like, I haven't been out the house other than for 15 minutes to do my walk. I've been sat down at my computer all day, and I was really, really getting stressed out. And my mum had been out, and she'd suggested maybe me and her going out for a slow walk around the block later on in the day just to stretch our legs. And I was like, yeah, that sounds nice, we'll do that. And then I was sitting there on my computer stressing that I'd only done 15 minutes, been sat down the rest of the day. And I was just getting so stressed out, and I was thinking, I just need to go out and do a bit more walking. I just need to get out, do a bit more walk, and then I'll calm down. But that would be doing the anorexic behavior to calm the eating disorder down. It would have just fed the eating disorder, and it's just a quick fix. It's a quick fix to give the anorexia what it wants, and then that habit is never ever going to break. And deep down, I knew that I wanted to break the habit, and I just had to sit with this uncomfortable feeling, as horrible as it was, because that's the only way you're going to break the eating disorder habits and get a more free life. And then I remembered that I was going to be going out with my mum, but then I knew in my head that if I went out with my mum and did this extra just gentle walk, that the voice in my anorexia in my head would use that just going out with my mum as like a good, like, oh well, you've done that now, so that's good, you've compensated for only doing 50 minutes. It would have been a compensation. It would have fed my anorexia. So I had to say to my mum, look, I'm not going to go out. Like, it was hard, but I just had to say, I'm not going to go out for another walk with you, because if I'm going to break this habit, I need to put the limits in now, and I need to restrict myself now to enable me more freedom later. So, and it was so hard. That day, I was only out the house for 50 minutes, and it was so hard. And it was so hard in the evening then not to bring in compensatory habits. But I just had to stick with the anxiety, stick with the feelings of anxiousness and uncomfortableness, because, as I've said before, these feelings don't continue increasing and increasing forever and ever. They do eventually plateau. And then if you keep repeating the challenge, the anxiety doesn't build up as much. So that I stuck with it, and for this week, every day I've done 15 minutes. I haven't done anything compensatory, and hopefully it has been hard. I'm still finding this 15 minutes hard, but I'm due to see my therapist in a couple of weeks, when I'm hoping the 15 minutes will have become more routine and all right, and then we can see where the next step is. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you are also someone who has struggled with exercise and wants to, I don't know, think about trying to combat that, because I know this was something I've struggled with so much for so many years, and I've wanted to get under control and just haven't been able to, have been too scared to bite the bullet and do it. But now I'm doing it, and life is so much better for doing it, and hopefully it can inspire you to challenge areas of your eating disorder and generally raise awareness of how impinging an eating disorder can be on everyday life. Like, people don't realise that when someone else is out there enjoying playing in the snow, someone like myself suffering has to go out and power walk round and round the streets in the snow when they don't want to. Like, that is what life with an eating disorder is like, and that is what I'm determined to challenge. And yep, please subscribe and like and share, and we can hopefully go through our anorexia recovery together and raise awareness of eating disorders together.